Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered why some parts of the world are always hot and steamy while others are covered in ice and snow? Or why where you live has 4 distinct seasons? It's not random. It's all thanks to Earth's amazing climate zones. Understanding climate zones helps us understand so much about our planet. It explains why certain plants grow in one place but not another, and why different animals call specific regions home. Let's dive in and explore these fascinating areas. First off, let's quickly remember the difference between weather and climate. Weather is what's happening outside right now: sunny, rainy, windy. Climate is the average weather patterns over a long period, usually 30 years or more. Climate zones are basically large areas of the Earth that share similar long-term weather patterns. These patterns are mostly determined by 2 big factors: temperature and precipitation. That's rain, snow, sleet, or hail. The most important factor influencing temperature is latitude, how far north or south a place is from the equator. Areas closer to the equator get more direct sunlight, making them warmer. Areas closer to the poles get less direct sunlight, making them colder. While scientists use many detailed classifications, we can simplify Earth's climates into 3 main zones based on temperature: the tropical zone, the temperate zone, and the polar zone. These 3 zones cover most of the planet's surface. Each zone has its own unique characteristics that shape the environment and the life within it. Let's take a closer look at each one. The tropical zone is located around the equator, roughly between the Tropic of Cancer in the north and the Tropic of Capricorn in the south. This zone receives the most direct sunlight throughout the year. Because of this, the tropical zone is known for being hot and humid. Temperatures are high year-round, with very little seasonal variation in temperature. The main variation is often between wet and dry seasons, rather than hot and cold seasons. Within the tropical zone, you find incredible biodiversity. Think of lush tropical rainforests like the Amazon with constant high temperatures and heavy rainfall. You also find tropical savannas, which are grasslands with scattered trees, experiencing distinct wet and dry seasons. Moving away from the equator, we enter the temperate zone. This zone lies between the tropics and the polar circles in both the northern and southern hemispheres. This is where many of us live. The temperate zone is characterized by having 4 distinct seasons: spring, summer, autumn or fall, and winter. Temperatures are moderate compared to the tropical and polar zones, but they change significantly throughout the year. Summers are typically warm or hot, and winters are cool or cold. Precipitation varies depending on the specific location within the zone, but it's generally enough to support a wide variety of plant life. This zone includes diverse landscapes like deciduous forests, grasslands, and Mediterranean climates. At the top and bottom of the Earth, around the North and South Poles, we find the polar zone. This zone is located north of the Arctic Circle and south of the Antarctic Circle. The polar zone receives the least direct sunlight because of the angle of the Earth's tilt. This results in extremely cold temperatures year-round. Winters are long, dark, and frigid, while summers are short and cool, with the sun staying low on the horizon or even staying up for 24 hours in some areas. Precipitation is very low in the polar zone, often falling as snow or ice. Despite the cold, life exists here. The tundra is a treeless region found in the Arctic polar zone, with permafrost, permanently frozen ground, beneath the surface. The Antarctic polar zone is mostly covered by a massive ice sheet. Climate zones are fundamental to understanding Earth's ecosystems. The temperature and precipitation patterns of a zone determine what kinds of plants can grow there. For example, palm trees thrive in the heat and humidity of the tropics, while pine trees are adapted to colder, drier climates. The types of plants available, in turn, determine what animals can live in a zone. Animals develop adaptations to survive the specific conditions, whether it's thick fur for the cold, camouflage for grasslands, or specialized diets for rainforest fruits. Climate zones also influence human life, affecting agriculture, architecture, clothing, and even culture. Understanding these zones is crucial for studying geography, ecology, and even predicting the impacts of climate change. Here's a fun way to think about climate zones and the life they support. Let's do a quick activity. Think about some animals and try to match them to the climate zone where they primarily live. For example, where would you most likely find a polar bear? Given its thick fur and need for sea ice, it's perfectly adapted for the polar zone. How about a monkey swinging through trees? Tropical rainforests are their ideal home. And a deer grazing in a forest with changing leaves? That sounds like the temperate zone. Your challenge is to pick a few more animals, maybe a camel, a penguin, a lion, a panda, and research which climate zone they inhabit and why their adaptations help them survive there. It's a great way to see how life is perfectly tuned to its environment. So there you have it, a quick tour of Earth's major climate zones, tropical, temperate, and polar. Each one is a unique world shaped by temperature and precipitation, supporting incredible diversity of life. Remember, these zones aren't just lines on a map. They are dynamic systems that influence everything from the plants in your backyard to the animals on the other side of the world. Keep exploring and learning about our amazing planet.